In this video, I want to give you a quick tour of our course in Canvas. So this should hopefully look familiar. This is the homepage of our course. This is where you will come when you first log in. As you scroll down, you will see some introductory materials. Please do click on the this link that has my contact information and some info about me. It also has information about the class in terms of expectations regarding timeliness of assignments and when you can expect feedback and all of those sorts of things. Um, you can also scroll down to go directly to the syllabus, and you can find my contact information at a glance here at the bottom, along with information about getting your texts. But to scroll up, the most important thing is just click on this picture. This is a photograph I took of the Nogales Port of Entry a few years back when I was there. Um, but I will update this. It doesn't update automatically; it's manual. I'll do it week to week, but I'll set it up such that when you click on it, it'll take you to the module that we're currently working on. I mention all of that just to say sometimes I may be a little bit behind, so you may have to click forward if I've not quite done it yet. Um, each of our modules for the course will have an introduction and the objectives, so what we'll be accomplishing during that module. And all of them are contained on one page. So I haven't made multi page modules, if that makes sense, but everything you'll need, you'll get by just scrolling down. This video, for example, is one of the first things that you will have come to. You'll read the introduction. This one, is the first module, so we're looking at the syllabus and all of the various assignments that we'll be completing over the course of the semester. I did want to emphasize that we're looking at everything we're going to be doing over the next several months. So please, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. If you do feel overwhelmed, let me know. We can chat about that so that you can make plans for completing the assignments. But these are things we're going to do week by week, little by little, together. There is a lot of reading, but that's the nature of history. Um, there are occasionally tutorials. So, for example, for our reading comments assignment, we're going to use a platform called Mastodon. Um, in the assignment itself, there's some information about getting started with Mastodon. This video is also a tutorial that I made to show you how to use it. And so everything's set up that way. There are live links that will take you to additional information or things that you need to know to successfully complete the assignments. So I'm going to keep scrolling down. At the end of every module is this self-assessment and looking ahead. So it'll kind of repeat, here are the things, a checklist of what you should have done. If you missed any of these things, you can go back and make sure that you do them. And then there's just a look ahead to what we'll be doing in the next module. I'm going to move my head slightly here. The way that you navigate in Canvas is you can just click Next to go to the next module. You'll notice there was a previous button there. There is a module that was set up by the folks at Western to give you all an overview of what you'll see in Canvas. So if you want to look at that, please do so as well. Um, I'm going to scroll down. Module 1.2, of course, you just, again, read through, follow the steps, self-assessment, looking ahead. I want to jump to module 2 because this is more like what a typical module will look like. And so generally, we'll be working on one book for a 2-week period. So module 2.1 and 2.2, for example, will focus on Alice Baumgartner's South to Freedom. So that's the book that we'll be reading and examining over those 2 weeks. As you scroll down, I'll give you a little bit of context and information, suggest that you look for some resources to help you better understand the author's approach and argument. And sorry, I'm scrolling back up. With this first book in particular, I give you a link to an article that talks about how to read a scholarly book in 2 hours or less. And so the focus there is then how do you look at the structure of a book using table of contents, using the introduction, the conclusion, looking at chapter topics and titles, and then doing some skimming without having to read word for word, page by page. Most academics don't read that way. And so this is just giving you an idea of how to read a little bit differently so that we can talk about the methodologies the author used, look at his or her sources. That's always going to be the focus of the reading comments and the discussions. So that's why I point that out. I also gave you a link to a post that I created for an intro to historical study class that just so happened to look at. I use this book as an example of how I read. And so if you look at this post, it walks through the ways that I try to approach reading scholarly works. As I already mentioned, you'll see some outcomes, objectives for the module, what the readings are. Um, I've noted that as you click next on this one, it will take you to a Brightwave bookshelf where you can access the e-copy of the book. Most of our books are available that way digitally. There are a couple of exceptions, and the folks at the bookstore should have sent you an email that will explain how you can get your physical copy of those books. Every module includes videos, podcasts, multimedia, and as noted in the highlighted text, these are not required, but they are there to help you. So this might be a way that you approach scholarly reading. So you might watch one of Baumgartner's discussions of her book in one of these videos, and then use that to get a sense of what the book's about, and that will help you jump into it and decide how to find the argument, how to skim, how to think about the sources, and so on. Every module, well, I should say every point one module, so 2.1, 3.1, and on, have reading comments. These are the things that we do on Mastodon. These are meant to be kind of like taking notes while you're reading, and it's a way of doing that where you can respond to each other. And then there's a specific discussion. The guidelines are there to explain what the expectations are, and then you'll always see a little prompt and a link to the discussion board. And so, same thing, you'll click next um, to advance once you're done. As I mentioned, the books on Brightwave is the middle part. Um, I think it's doing this because I logged in the student view. When I'm logged in my own view, it doesn't give me an error. So hopefully that'll be the case for all of you. If this thing doesn't work though, just let me know and I can take it out and we can access the books differently. All right. Then I wanted to show you a kind of typical 2.2. This one's a little different because usually we're just still focusing on the same book. In 2.2, I give you some optional readings to complement South to Freedom. But again, the main reading is South to Freedom. We're looking at it again to think about what are the histories, the narratives, the stories of certain people that Baumgartner focuses on to support her ideas and her main arguments. So not so much the methods and the sources, but more the stories in the second part, the second week. Here are a bunch of optional materials for this particular one. You can get to them as you are able. If you don't get to any of them, that's okay. And again, videos, podcasts, and so on as additional context. In the point two parts of the module, so the second week for most weeks. And again, this is what I'm explaining is typical of most weeks. There are a couple of exceptions, so always do read through the modules to make sure you have gotten everything handled. Um, but again, this one will explain we're doing a blog post for the point two. There are no reading comments, there's no discussion board this week. The blog post is the focus, and there is a specific prompt. You will write your post on Medium. That's all explained here, and it's something you will have taken care of during the first module. So you will have been given steps that will explain how to do all that. If you have any questions along the way about some of the platforms we're using, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here to help, and I understand that most of us are new to these. I think they're powerful ways for being able to engage with each other while we're also thinking about the reading and the histories that we're focusing on. Um, so that's why we use them, and I'm willing to support you and help you in any way I can. So again, 2.2 ends with the self-assessment and looking ahead, and then it just continues on and on. Just a couple of things to think about if you want to, or if you need to jump to a specific module, you can just click the modules tab and then you can scroll down. If we're already in module 4, you can click ahead to module 4.1 that way, rather than just getting into what the current module is. um, via that photo link on the homepage. The syllabus is also here. So all of those links that I showed you in Module 1.1, they're also here in the syllabus section, as well as the course summary, which is a calendar of when things are due and what we'll be doing. These you can go straight to discussions, assignments. Here's how you can check your grades, find people in the class. I'm willing to use the chat whenever I'm on. So that may or may not be super frequently. We'll see, but I am very responsive to email. You do have my Google Voice number, so you can send me text messages, and I try to get back as soon as I can with responses to questions that you have about the class. So I am here to help, even if it's not always necessarily on chat. Um, I'm going to go back to the home page for one moment because I want to show you down here at my contact info at a glance. My virtual office hours are Tuesdays from 10 to 11 in the morning. If that's not something that works with your schedule, just let me know and we can work on finding another time where I could get on Zoom and chat with you. But this link goes to my Zoom room, and that's how we will do virtual office hours and office hours by appointment. So those are the ways to get in touch with me. I'm super excited to work with you on the history of the borderlands and specifically the US Mexico border during this spring term. There's a lot happening current events wise in terms of migration and other kinds of issues along the border, political as well. And so I think we'll have a lot to talk about and discuss that is very timely and important. All right. Hopefully, that's a helpful tour. And I look forward to meeting you and learning from your insights into the history of our borderlands.